back there that I met, you know. And but as you get older, you start to realize you have all these responsibilities. And then the responsibility that I knew that I was taking on, because my family is a family of service in uniform. And I'll talk briefly about service, as you saw in that video, if you're able to hear it, because all of us have a duty and a responsibility to serve, just like all these people on the side wall. In fact, the whole reason why you're here is you are either curious or you are active in what's going on in this state, right? And some of you may be in the country. So we are in a really difficult time right now. And I so appreciate, this idea. Years ago, we started to really, in fact, there was people like Evelyn and others, other people that I met, principally young women who were raising children in families that were broken apart. And I'm looking at school boards. I've been involved with Moms for Liberty and Moms for America and all these other different, local groups. These people that were, trying to save their communities. And this is a time after I had spent the majority of my life in uniform overseas. I've served on 6 continents. Okay? I have served. How many of you have seen the movie, by the way, this movie that we made? We dropped a copy on the table. Everybody should have a copy of this there. For the couples, maybe for the couples, you just take one. But we dropped copies for everybody. Watch that movie. That movie is more relevant today than it was written when we made it 2 years ago. So, quick background, because I'm going to dive in the short time that I have to speak about your responsibility. Because people come to me all the time and go, well, what can I do? What should I do? Right? I mean, you're here for a reason, folks. You're here for a reason. And I can tell you, despite the one man that sits behind what's called the resolute desk in the Oval Office, this country is in a moral decline. Okay, we are in a moral decline. She just talked, Emily talked about human trafficking. This state gets an F for the grade. Now, you're really good, the great law enforcement professionals that we have here from the county sheriff's office. Actually, when you find somebody who has been trafficking children, you arrest them. You do the right thing. So your arrest records are pretty good. Actually, you get rated by a particular group in the country. You actually get graded. And they give an Iowa a B. But they give you an F for victims, for helping the victims. For children who are being trafficked. We are the #1 country on the planet for child sex and slave trafficking. The United States of America is #1 on the planet. I mean, how can we say that we're a Christian nation? How can we say that? So, I'll dive into that here too. And maybe I'll have 5 minutes for questions if I have any listeners. So, who am I? So, I'm not going to come here and talk to you about farming. I had a whole speech prepared, but then I wanted to get a feel, and I really do appreciate all the people that came up and took photos and had a little conversation. I'm not going to talk to you about farming. I'm not going to talk to you about your CO2 problems. I'm not going to talk to you about how the big food industry has tried to take over the family farms here, which has happened. I mean, I've been to Iowa enough, and I've studied enough. I'm not going to tell you what your problems are, okay, or how to fix your problem. What I am going to talk to you about is service. Service, okay? My family, both my grandparents, both of my grandfathers came over from Ireland. Both of them served in World War I. One of my grandfathers served in World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. He's buried in Arlington right now. My father served in World War II and the Korean War. I have an older brother that served in the Vietnam era. I have a son who's serving overseas right now. Myself and my brother, Charlie, who just retired from the Army, we're brother Charlie. We're not West Point guys who graduated from a state university, like you got state universities here. And he retired as a 4-star. He actually outranks me. He's young. He's a good guy. We don't really, we get into fights once in a while. Remember, he's one of nine kids, four daughters, and four sisters, and 5 brothers. So my family, that's all we knew was the military, because that's what my grandfathers, and that's what they were pushing, right? And then my father. I had uncles, I had nieces and nephews that are serving in the military. I have over 50 nieces and nephews, half of them serve in the military right now. what we did. That's what our family legacy was. And just like I talked to some of you here, how long you been in Iowa? My whole family's been here for 4 or 5 generations. So what do? We're farmers. Okay, great. So you're serving your community by producing, I don't know, soybeans, right? Corn, whatever it is that you're producing. You are doing something for your community. You're doing something for your county. You're doing something for our country. And you don't even know the impact that you're having at the national level, what you do. Because somebody that puts a blade into the ground, right, is producing something for the people of this country, frankly, for the people of the world. Right, you're serving. You're serving. Like I always say, you don't have to, we love our veterans, I love our first responders, I love our, we take our police, we take our firemen for granted. So you just expect them to be there, right? One of the things my mother taught us was how to dial 911. We had actually had the thing on the wall for a while, right? And in the rotary, she taught us how to dial 911. So if something happened at your house, some crazy thing happened, fire or whatever, we're not dialing 911 as a kid, right? And then older brothers and sisters, they would help you. And the expectation was that the police would show up, right? Fire department would show up. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We don't do that anymore. Families in this country, for those of you and thank you for anybody that picked up a couple of these books here. One of the books, Letter to America, that I wrote. It's about faith, family, freedom. It's about the idea of what America was designed to be. We are an experiment still, even though we're in our 250th year, we are still an experiment. Okay, and this country requires sacrifice. It requires sacrifice from people in uniform, right? The cloth of this country. You see these great police officers around here, great law enforcement professionals around here. It requires people like, and I don't know all of you people. All I know is that I've met a few of you, and what's your story? What do you do? I'm a committeeman or I'm something in my town, all right? I met a gentleman who was a former mayor of Denison. He sat here somewhere. I said, thank you very much for your service. If we don't get off our rear ends here in this country, and I know that I'm sort of preaching to the choir, but I want you all to start to reflect on, maybe tonight is a Sunday. It's a beautiful night, beautiful weather here in Iowa. Take the next couple of days and start thinking about what is it that you do. Okay? Are you doing enough? Are you volunteering? Are you getting on the phone? Are you looking at these candidates and going, okay, which one of these actually will fight for this country, never mind just my county or my town? Okay? Because our country, we're in tough shape. We're in tough shape. Okay? I know President Trump, but one man is never going to do it. And I had a great debate, maybe I think it was with you guys, talking about God, talking about the Pope. Right? Talking about the Pope. I'm Catholic. Men will screw things up. Okay? The elected officials that we've been putting into Washington, D.C., I don't know, for generations. For a couple of generations. A generation is about 25 years for the young people in the room. So anybody that's under the age of 25, right? There's a bunch of young people here. My mom used to call it forced family fun. Right? Drag the kids along. Right? 9 kids. My mother was active. My mother was involved in everything. Everything. She would drag us all along. We'd be handing stuff out. Didn't make any difference. We have at least 2 generations in this country right now that have got us into this place. Okay, but it's not when we go, those people in, wherever in your capital, right, in the state capital, and in Washington, D.C., those bums, right, they're so corrupt.